My dog just came into the room. So if I make weird kissing sounds, it's because I'm talking to my dog. I apologize.
Very sweet. Okay, we're waiting on a couple others. Can folks, can some OOB folks go into the Instagram and send the live to Mo and Omar and Layla? Who else? I think that was it. And once everyone's in, I'll have you all introduce yourself, your pronouns, say anything you'd like to say about yourself. We're just waiting on folks to get here. For everyone who is here, please make sure you tap the screen. Make sure that you tip all of the folks, especially the Palestinians on the panel, as this is heavy labor, and it's incredibly important. Did anyone go into the Instagram and send the live to the folks that I needed sent to? Layla, Mo, Omar's here, so we're good. Hi, Omar.
Is that breaking up for everyone else, or is it just me?
Hey, how's it going?
Can you guys hear me okay? Am I breaking up for anyone? You good? Okay, cool. Thank you, Alma. Okay, let me see. Not quite. Not quite.
Okay. I sent it to Mo.
Thank you so much. For the person who asked, I heard there's a school setting up. Do you have their info for donations? It's in our link tree under the Better World. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I promise we'll get set up soon as we get everyone in here. Just trying to give everyone time. Make sure you're tapping the screen. All of that good stuff. Oops. While we're waiting, how is everyone today?
That's a loaded question.
It is a loaded question. Yeah. You can be honest.
So I've been in the apartment all day. I've just kind of been a homebody, and I went outside to go to the grocery store to pick my husband up a couple things, and it was so bright and sunny and warm and hot, and I was like, the inside of my apartment definitely feels like the inside of me right now. It's just like dark and cold, and I'm just not prepared to step out into that world. It feels completely different than my own.
Yeah, understandable. I feel like it's odd that it's such a pretty day, but it's not a pretty day. You know what I mean? Like, Would anyone else like to share?
Yeah, I think I definitely have.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm kind of feeling like the exact same. I think there's a lot of mixed feelings today. And I think, at least for me, I've been trying to put that into motivation. So I spoke on a segment for the Palestine Chronicle today earlier. And so I think just being able to share space with other Palestinians and focus kind of all the energy on Palestine is, I feel like, how I process all of that and the best we can do.
Absolutely. Hello, Mo.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Sorry,
we're just waiting on one more person. It's Layla. If someone can go and send her the link to she's in our Instagram. Someone in the OOB Instagram, send her the link to the live so she can join, and we can go ahead and get started.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll touch a little bit. Just thinking about everything that's like gone on the past year, but just even reflecting on everything that's happened since, growing up and, witnessing all those things. But it's a little bit bittersweet too, because I can recognize at the same time that it's it's a turning point in history where
media reclaim this ridiculous narrative that it all started on October 7th, and it's literally happening as we speak. Go switch on any channel right now. That's the narrative right now. Just showing all this video footage of all these people at the Nova Festival location and all that kind of stuff. So it was predicted by all of us. We knew this was going to come. But I think we've got this collective movement that I've actually personally seen. And sorry if my voice is like ridiculous right now. I just got back from the New York City protest. I was yelling my ass off. So
Was it a big protest? A lot of people.
Probably one of the best ones I've been at, and it was incredible actually. So it was I sprinted over here for this for this live. But just witnessing what I saw there in New York City. In the middle of Wall Street, we marched all the way to the city hall and they're still going as we speak. It's just a beautiful display of humanity across the board. Everyone out there is not chanting anything. I even just posted a very beautiful display of humanity where true Jews were holding the line while Muslims were praying in the middle of Wall Street, like literally in New York City. It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And there's a line of Jews just sitting there, standing, holding the line so that nobody can mess with them, essentially. And then you had obviously the Zionists chanting really disgusting things while they were praying. So it shows the dichotomy of like who we are versus who they are. So just wanted to just make that a very, very blatant point, because even on October 7th, we show our humanity, we show our love, we show our peace, we show, who we are as as humans. So it was beautiful to see.
That is really beautiful. I love that. I wish I was in New York or around New York. Unfortunately, I'm super far. So, okay. Well, we are waiting on Layla, but we can go ahead and do introductions while we wait on her. Whoever wants to go first, by all means, you can do name, pronoun, anything you'd like to say to start off.
All right, guys. I'm Mo. I don't like to use the word activist, to be quite honest. I'm just a regular old Mo fighting for his people, and that's what I've been doing since the beginning. Obviously, well before October 7th, I've been kind of screaming from the rooftops, and now is the first time in a long time we are all, I think, collectively being heard while we speak. So I think that's a true testament to what this world shift has become. And yeah, I mean, I'm from Jersey City, New Jersey. I was my family Palestinian wise, so I'm Palestinian. My father is from Ain Karim, which is just outside of Quds, which is Jerusalem, and then probably heard more recently with all the settler madness and violence happening in Tubas. So that's my Palestinian heritage. But I'm born and raised Baltimore, Maryland. I'm a Baltimore boy at heart, but I live in New Jersey, so I won't say I'm a Jersey boy yet.
Well, it's very nice to meet you, and thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I hate that a live like this has to happen anyway, but thank you for sharing community with us.
Thanks for setting this up.
Okay, I'll go next. Ano ai ke aloha mai no ka ko o wau lilihi ilani o Kimura no mauna lua o ahu mai yao. Hello, everyone. My name is Lilihi Ilani Okimura. I hail from Mauna Lua, the island of Oahu, Ikapai Aina o Hawaii. I am a Kanaka Maoli, I'll say activist, educator, thespian on the side. I love acting. And just, I don't know, for as long as I remembered, I always just cared about so many causes, even though I'm all the way in the middle of the ocean, so far away from everyone. We all see what's going on, and we are all, especially the Kanakamoli indigenous people of Hawaii, we stand with the Palestinians, we stand with indigenous people all across the world. Here to share this space with you all. And yeah, it's today, just, I can, but I also can't fucking believe that it's been a year and this shit is still going on. And just, I am aggravated. My heart is broken, but just seeing all of the support and love everywhere, and just seeing that we're not going to give up, just, you know, makes me feel better, and just that we're planting the seeds. And I really hope that things get better. But yeah, so mahalo for everyone. Mahalo for letting me be here.
I would say nice to meet you, Lily, but I know who you are. But thank you so much for introducing yourself. Who would like to go next?
I'll go.
Yeah, I don't mind going next. So yeah, my name is Omar. Also, you guys can say Omar, but Palestinian. I was born in actually Canada. I'm not in the States, but yeah, Treaty 6 territory. I come from a family. My mom Janine, and my dad is from an Abbasiya Yafa, which is right now it's known as Yehuda, and it's close to Tel Aviv. It's in proximity to Tel Aviv, which is occupied Yafa. But yeah, I was born and raised here. I wouldn't call myself an activist either, just because, you know, it's a way of life. It's the way I grew up, and you know, I grew up in front of the news and in front of Al Jazeera, and you know, it was politics was every conversation. That's what I was surrounded by. So, you know, I just chose to take that on and do what I can for my people. And yeah, it's. I appreciate the opportunity to be on this panel with you guys and to meet you guys all, you know, virtually. Hopefully one day in person. But for now, yeah, I'm grateful for this opportunity. So thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. It's so nice to meet you. Oh,
No, I was gonna say I'm on my brother-in-law's Abbasiya too, man. It's want everyone to know it's like the best seafood of all time comes from that area in Yafa. It's unreal. So hopefully one day we visit a free Palestine and we'll you know, break bread and eat some delicious seafood. But I love Yafa. It's a gorgeous place.
oh, we will.
Yeah.
We will in our lifetime.
It's so hard to find people from an Abbasiya, man. Like
Yeah, man.
I've only met one other family that's from that place, from our village, but yeah, I've never met anybody that's from there who, you know, so it's nice to hear that there's, you know, somebody from there.
Oh yeah, very prideful, like most of us.
That is awesome. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you for again coming up and doing the labor. I know today is it's a loaded day. And so I just wanted to say thank you. All right, who would like to go next?
Yeah. Okay. Hi. My name is Tarek Raouf. I was born and raised in San Francisco, but my parents, they're from Palestine. My dad is from Gaza, and my mom is from a village called Lifta. I wish I had more details to share. I'm still kind of like learning about my family's history. I've you know, avoided it my whole life. I spent like the vast majority of my life calling myself Kyle, because I wanted to be white as heck. And like I picked it because I was just watching. Oh, hey Megan, welcome. I was watching Kyle, and it's ridiculous. Um, the past few years has been a journey, really embracing my heritage, embracing my culture. You know, everyone always says that it's daunting to learn about Palestine, and it's like they don't know where to start. And as someone who's just kind of like getting into really what it means to be Palestinian, I can understand that, but also at the same way, it's so enriching. It's like, I don't know if any of you have ever been to like a massive library or a bookstore. Like there's a massive bookstore in Portland that's just like an entire city block. It kind of feels like that, where like there's so many places to go, but no matter where you go, you will find something worth learning. And you don't really have to pick a specific direction. You just gotta go for it. And that's what I've learned. So I'm very happy to be here with all of you.
It's so nice to meet you, Tarek, and definitely feel the wanting to be white. I never went as far as, like changing my name, but growing up in a society that hates brown and black people makes you want to be a white person so bad. I hope you know that you are beautiful as you are. And it's so nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you as well. Nice to meet everyone.
All right. And then the last two we got, unless Cheyenne wants to introduce theirself, of course, is Megan and Nice. Am I pronouncing that correct?
Yes, Nice is great. So my name is Nice. I'm a Palestinian American journalist, activist, content creator. I've done a lot of activism surrounding Palestine in high school and also in college, and took on some leadership positions, leading student walkouts and stuff like this. And I've done a ton of work this past year online, but also offline and in real life with workshops, speaking at protests, things like this. So I'm really honored and grateful to be here with you all today. And yeah, I just do kind of everything about Palestine. And actually, I was supposed to go to Palestine for the first time on October 7th or the 8th last year with my family, with my dad. And my family lives in a surrounding Arab country. And after that, I was like, all right, it's not happening. I can fight for Palestine forever, and I will visit Palestine one day, and hopefully it'll be when it's free. So yeah, it's about me.
It's so nice to meet you. Thank you for all your work and your dedication. Thank you for sharing this space with us. And you will be in Palestine, and it will be liberated. All of us, in our lifetime, in our lives.
Also, I'm from the village of Anaba, if anyone is curious. It's in Ramallah.
I know that because I watched your pinned video. It was very informative, and I loved it. All right, Megan, you want to be the last person?
Sure. Hello, everyone, to the Muslims in the chat. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Megan Rice. For those of you who don't know me, I have been an activist ever since I was 16, 17 years old. I'm 35 now. Never been good at math. You can do that yourself. Um, I began my activism with an activist group, actually, called the One Campaign, Fighting Global Poverty and Preventable Disease. That's where I learned a lot of the skills that I took with me when I decided to go out on my own and fight for the causes that I was passionate about. So lobbied on Capitol Hill, got to meet senators, House representatives, learned what it was to try and pass a bill that would help fellow human beings, learned how performative most politicians are, and learned that if you show up in large groups with matching t-shirts and smiles, you are far more likely to get your bill passed. I wish I was joking. And after October 7th, I think it was just an all hands on deck call to action to all activists for Palestine this entire time, and those who knew it was best people who wanted to help. So thank you all for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for being in community with us. I do want to quickly go through pronouns. That way, if folks have questions for anyone in the comments, we don't misgender anyone unintentionally. I went ahead and asked everyone ahead of time, but if you want to say your own pronouns, that's fine too. So I'll go ahead and let anyone who wants to say what pronouns they would prefer, or if they don't care. I just don't want anyone to feel like misgendered or anything. So
She, her,
who said that?
me.
Lily?
Yes.
Okay, Lily, she, her. Sorry, I just want to make sure. Lily, she, her. Okay.
In Hawaiian, we have one pronoun for everyone. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I go by he, him.
It's
Thanks.
cool.
Omar, he, him. Awesome.
He, him as well, Mo.
He, her for me.
They, them, me.
She, her.
Awesome. And I don't care what you call me, just don't call me a boy.
She, they, but anyone shouldn't be asking me any questions today.
All right, everyone. Well, the goal is that this kind of goes, what's the word? It's like an organic conversation. But if anyone wants to start the conversation saying anything specific, by all means, I want this to be I want Palestinians to be at the center of this. So if you'd like me to ask questions, that's fine. But if you'd also just like to kind of say what you're feeling, say the past year, anything you'd like.
I'll just jump in real quick. So I'm Mo, for everyone that joined. I'm typically known as like the angry one on social media because I do like to yell a lot on camera. But I want everyone to know that that's not who I am. I am actually a very happy-go-lucky guy. I'm a father of 2 children. I think is what really sparks my passion and anger and disgust with what's happening. So it is a way for me in a cathartic way to let everything out on camera. I'm not really that comfortable on camera before all this madness. It was just a way for me to really display everything in my heart and soul and just but I want you to also understand, and like Nice, I actually was able to go to Palestine just before October 7th. I actually came back like end of September last year. And that was also a huge source and driver to like the madness in me and the anger in me because I keep the amount of emotion someone really feels when they go to Palestine is it's really indescribable. It's all emotions at once. It's not just happiness. There and like I had the freedom of movement because I had an American passport. When disgusting things they do to us. But this was the moment I kind of clicked for me. I was like, I must go all in. I don't care what they do to me. I don't care if you dox me, fire me, do whatever the hell you want to me. I'm going to say what I want to say, if you hear me, you hear me. If you don't, you don't. And luckily, the world was starting to wake up from there, and it actually was starting to resonate. And I appreciate every single human being that ever listened to my rants. So I do appreciate you all, and I do want you to know that I'm actually a happy guy, and I try to be as funny as I can be sometimes.
Thank you so much for sharing. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just wanted to jump in just as a fellow Indigenous person. Like the angry rants thing, I resonate with that so much. And it's just, I don't even like to view us like being angry or ranting. We're speaking our truth, and we are speaking against the settler occupation that our people are going through. And while, you know, here in Hawaii, we're not going through the same thing like as what Palestinians are going through, like we resonate with military occupation, you know, land being taken from us, and still land being taken from us, still the military bombing our islands, and, you know, tourists coming here and, you know, taking over our land. And I rant about that too. And they're like, you just sound angry. I'm like, no, well, I am angry, but I have every right to be. Like, we have every right to be. So I just wanted to echo like what the comments were saying, is that like you all have every right to be angry, and, you know, don't let anyone tone police you. Like,
Right.
if you're not angry, then you're not paying attention. Like, just wanted to say
100%.
that.
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think that obviously you don't need me to tell you your anger is valid, but your anger is valid 100%. I don't know how anyone can't be angry at this time. I think if you're not paying attention. I think it's beautiful that you got to see your grandfather's house. I'm so sorry you didn't actually get to, you know, see and experience it. I think that I couldn't imagine being in that situation, and I'm incredibly sorry. But in regards to, you know, the all in, I think that one thing I noticed is that whenever I was younger, Zionism and going against Zionism was always seen as like a bad thing. But with as much as horrendous as it is to have to live stream genocide for people to care, that I think that in a way that is what changed the tides. People being able to actually see and not rely so much on propagandized news, you know. And so I wanted to bring that part up, that like I think people are less scared about going all in now because number one, they can really see it. And then number two, everyone can see it. So it's not like people can gaslight you as easily, even though they try. They try. So yeah, anywho, thank you so much for sharing. If someone would like to go next, by all means.
Yeah, I'd like to say that like during this past year, like that's something that I resonate with Mo, is like it's going all in, and being honestly at the beginning, like I was afraid to, right? Like I was like, no, because I didn't want to put my family back home in harm's way, right? Like I didn't want to, because typically that's what they do, is if they can't get to you, they go like after your family and stuff. And you know, they obviously blacklist you from going back there if you're very like vocal and, you know, criticizing them a lot and stuff like that, right? Rightfully so that we criticize them, but they ban us from entering, and like that's happened to a few of my friends that have been very outspoken about it. You know, and then there comes the loss of work, right? Like I worked in telecommunications for 8 years, and then I lost that job. But you know, it's nothing compared to what they're like our people are losing back home. And like sometimes I struggle with that, and you know, talking about those things, because I'm like, you know, there's a lot of people that criticize that. They're like, oh well, why are you talking about you losing your job? Well, like look at the person there that lost their home and their family. And I'm like, yes, I understand that, but you know, it got to a point where I don't keep it in. Like I do discuss it with people, I do talk about it, because you know, I'm not just gonna hold it in and suffocate and die, right? Like I think there's enough space for us to talk about that, and also acknowledge that, you know, there are people going through worse, of course, right? Um, but yeah, like I don't know. The other day I was going back to my like videos at the beginning of like when I was talking about, I don't know, I can't even remember what I was talking about, but it was more towards the beginning, and I'm like cringe, and like I deleted like a whole bunch of videos, because I'm a very nervous person, right? Like I'm very shy, and um it was hard for me to put my face on camera to make a video. Like when I first started doing the whole education part of it, like I literally had to make, I don't know, the video probably like 20 times because I would stutter when I was talking, right? Like I'm not good at the talking part. Like I can make a skit, whatever, right? But when it comes to talking and educating people, I found that to be hard. But you know, with time it got easier. And yeah, you know, some days there's rage, some days it's a little bit easier, you know, to grasp the day. And you know, I'm thankful for the community we got to build, and you know, I'm really appreciative and grateful for that. And yeah, I'll hand it off to someone else because I'm just trying to get my train of thought back together. But how do I follow people on the panel? Because I want to make sure that I'm like, you know, follow them and stuff.
You should be able to tap them and then click on their name in the left corner, and then it should let you follow them. Unless I'm lying, because I absolutely could be lying.
No, it works. It works. Thank you.
Awesome.
Something that I wanted to add is like the importance of community, not only within this past year, but I think a lot of people don't realize how large the Palestinian community is and how we treat and uplift each other. Because like for me, yes, you just see my face, but I always try to reiterate that it's my entire community is behind me, and my entire family will give me ideas of videos. My dad will send me some, like, have you talked about this yet? Have you informed people? And even when I was back in like the Middle East, and I've been visiting family, they're helping me prep for interviews. They are making sure that with the trees on it that I can show people, and really just making sure that I have that generational knowledge. Me and my Sido, my grandpa, we do not really speak the same language. My Arabic is not that good. He doesn't speak a lot of English, but we still are able to communicate if it's things like Google Translate, stuff like that. And I was able to interview him and hear him talk about surviving the Nakba, talk about how our family, was displaced, how my dad has, he grew up in a refugee camp. A lot of my family has grown up in refugee camps, and they live an hour away from Palestine. A lot of them have not gone, and they are so incredibly supportive of all the work that Palestinians are doing, obviously in real life and then online as well. And I just think a lot of people aren't really aware of how large the community is behind us and how many people are really behind each and every single one of the faces here, even if it's maybe just your family or like another Palestinian, like best friend of yours that supports you and you have these discussions with. But yeah, I think just the community this year has been something incredible. And something that Zionists have tried really hard to do is separate Palestinians from Palestine. And they also do this in ways of, there's so many Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza, but they're not able to be with each other. But through things like social media, we've been able to have connections, and also with Palestinians in the diaspora. I now have, before this, I had Palestinian friends, in Gaza and the West Bank, but even more so now, where we are so unified. And I think it just shows that Zionists, no matter what, cannot stop us, and they will not stop Palestine from being freed or us being together.
That was really beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I think I watched, unless I'm lying, unless I'm thinking of something else, I think I watched the interview with your grandfather, or maybe I watched someone else's interview, but I do think that is really cool. And one thing that I really love about my friends who are Palestinian is the beautiful community they have. I've invited to dinners, iftars, I think is what they're called. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. And the community is really beautiful, just to see how much community. It's always something that I've wanted. And so to be able to kind of have that and have these friends is a really beautiful experience. I do hate that it came from a genocide being committed. But I do thank you all for being in community with us.
Mo, I wanted to mention something where you said that you're like, oh, I'm not an angry person. I also wanted to validate that anger. You have every single right to be angry. Everyone has a right to be angry. I resonated with that, being a Black woman, being afraid to be that angry Black woman stereotype. Something that helped me was just like, oh, well, if you think that, you're just racist. I was like, anyone else that like would understand the pain I go through and everything would be like, oh, like every right to be angry, or they would right to be angry, or they would Black, Indigenous, and people of color, it can be really hard to express your anger because of the stereotypes that come with us being angry. Like, we're not allowed to be angry. That's BS. So I just wanted to validate that. You were one of the first people TikTok, especially since October 7th last year. So thank you for everything that you've done. You've educated me a lot about everything in Palestine and Israel's occupation of Palestine. So I want to thank you for that and let you know your anger is absolutely valid. And if anyone is like, you're being too angry, I'm gonna screw off.
I love you for that. I do want to clarify, I am extremely unapologetic about my anger. I do not give a rat's ass what they say. To be quite honest. And I want to be very clear about this because no one has a single right whatsoever to question Palestinian anger whatsoever. At this point in time, you have no right at all. Like, I'm just going to say that very clearly. So I brush that off nowadays, but I do like to point it out whenever it does come up, because a very important point is sometimes like our elders are very cognizant of like the perception of Arabs. I want to make this clear because sometimes my dad or my uncle is like, hey, you might be misconstrued as like, a really angry Arab, just be careful, like kind of thing. So those are, you have to also educate some of our own, to be quite honest, like, because my dad has turned a completely new leaf. He's like, actually, I'm loving the anger now. Like, before he was like, please don't do this because they're traditionalists and they lived it. They've lived all of this racism their whole entire lives. And now is the point where we really need to put that stake in the ground and be like, not anymore. Like, our anger is valid. If you question it, then step off and just get away. So that's like my mentality at this moment. So I appreciate you so much for saying those kind words, though. Thank you so much.
I want to hop onto that. Just in the discussion of anger, I feel like, being Palestinian, you can say things in the kindest, most respectful way possible and still come out as being told that you're being angry. It's like I had a conversation with my father-in-law a couple of weeks ago. I was in Arkansas. He's a Trump supporter. And he was saying that he doesn't like my tone in my videos. He doesn't really even like watch my videos because my tone immediately just kind of like sets it off for him, because he's like, I think you're just angry. And even in the conversation where we were having, I had my hands in my pockets and I was looking at him and I was like hearing what he had to say, and he was telling me, even in that moment, somehow I seemed angry. And I think it has more to do with the tropes of Palestinians and the histories and the narratives that people have been fed for decades to just immediately paint us as angry because of so many other things that are outside of our control. So it's like, even if we try to be respectful, you will always be told that you're being too angry about it. No matter how, like, no matter what words you use. And so that's what I really like about your videos, Mo, is that it gives us like an outlet and like an ability to be like, no, he's absolutely fucking right. Like the video that you made, I'm so sorry for cursing. I apologize. I don't know if we're not,
We're not telling policing on this live. You can curse.
Okay. But like your most recent video where you were out there like talking about Kamala's statement, like every single beat that you hit was just like on point. And it's like, we have every right to be angry about this statement, about people telling us to vote for someone that is contributing to like the murder of our families. And it's just, I'm having a bit of an emotional moment being in community with you all. Hearing that you got to see your great grandfather's house, hearing that niece got to interview her grandfather and kind of have communication with her grandfather in a way that really allowed her to like listen and learn and hear. It is, sorry. It is an unthinkable thing to look back at my entire existence and know that I shoved it all away And I don't have those communications. That I don't know where in Gaza my dad's family is originally from. That I can't talk to my grandma or my grandpa. I remember growing up. I didn't speak any Arabic, obviously, and like the one word that my Sidol knew was baby. He called everyone baby. He was like, "Hey, baby, come here!" And it was like he called him mailman baby. Like it's just like, and it's like those are like the only really big moments that I have between him and me. But God, I would do anything to be able to sit down with my Sidol now, 15, 20, 30 years ago, and like tell me everything. Tell me your experience. And so to just be able to be in a community with you all is it's healing in a way.
I just want to say that was really, really beautiful. I kind of feel the same way when it comes to like being Puerto Rican, Afro Latina, and how like I don't really know Spanish. It's hard to connect with that. And I think, you know, it was even scarier for Palestinians, for example, because of the scariness around, you know, not wanting to be called anti-Semitic or not wanting to be targeted, you know. I just want you to know that I hear you, I see you, and we're really grateful for you and we really love you. And as for the anger thing, white people get mad that their football team loses and smash the TV. So don't don't, you know what I mean? Like,
You're so right.
Not just smash the TV. Have y'all seen that footage of them burning whole cities? to the
yeah,
ground?
that's insane.
Oh my
If they
gosh.
lose or win, if they lose or win,
Glad
either way.
it's them. Thank you.
Yeah, I just had to say that. You know, I had to get that off my chest. So, but Niece, did you want to add anything?
I think I was just gonna say that like I totally hear what you're saying. And with that, that means like, yes, maybe you didn't get to have those connections with your family, but that then means you, if you have children one day or little nephews, cousins, anything, or even just little kids in your community, you will then be able to like be that person and you are able to then revive, you know, all of this. And I think something this past year has been, we've seen a big revival of Palestinians wanting to engage way more in the culture. Like I remember in college I was like the president of my school's Arab Student Association and trying to beg people to come to our club, like we're gonna cook, we're gonna do this stuff. And then seeing now over this past year when I've gone back and be able to talk to them, or I taught like a threes class, and how many people are so interested. And even my family back home in the Middle East, like my cousins, I was teaching some of my little cousins to do threes, and we are now seeing more than ever people being so passionate about Palestine, about being Palestinian, and being able to then again share this with Palestinians who are under occupation. Because at the end of the day, I feel like I always revert back to them and I go back to them to make sure that what we're doing is correct and we're honoring them as well, since they are the ones suffering. And every single time that I've talked to one of my friends under occupation, they're like, everything that any Palestinian is doing, just by saying you're Palestinian, that's an act of resistance in and of itself. So I think just doing anything and everything we can, I'm so grateful.
No, I want to jump on that, Niece. That's a great point, because like we are all very accustomed to we're just going to call them the blanket white people, but like where they eat our food, love our music, love to dance to our stuff, and are so acclimated to just, you know, what do you call it? Just like the glamour of the Arab culture. But when it comes to our genocide, they hush the F up. So, you know what I mean? Like as if we're not human anymore. So they love our hummus, they love our, you know, and all that stuff. But it's maddening to see what we're seeing a year later. Like it's still happening. I know certain people that I'm in my close circles that are still silent because they're just scared out of their minds, like straight up. And it's just, that needs to break across the board. We're seeing so much, like, I think awakenings, as we keep calling it, where people are understanding now. But we need to stop letting the entire, people or population, culturally appropriate us and then ignore us when we're reaching out our hand. You know what I mean? So like, if we're asking to be saved while you're, taking advantage of all the beautiful we have contributed to life, it is disgusting to us. So step off the hummus and then start talking for us. You know what I mean? So that's basically what I'm trying to say. And we're very accustomed to this. nowadays.
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel the same way. That's one thing that white folks are good at. They're very good at taking and then ignoring. One thing that we say in the Black community is everyone wants to be Black until it's time to be Black. So, and that's exactly how it is. White folks often take the glamorous parts of the culture that of people that they don't actually see as humans, and then when those communities are asking for help, literally being, genocided and experiencing horrific white supremacy and apartheid, it's crickets from their end. And it's horrible. I definitely think that if you're not going to help the folk, you really shouldn't, period, engage in cultural appropriation. However, if you're going to at least listen to the communities you're appropriating from, bare minimum, if we all could. So.
Yeah, something I noticed is like they it's very comfortable for them to take, but it's not comfortable for them to give, right? Like they have to get outside their comfort zone of like extending to us, right? And a lot of my friends, like the way I grew up, because the way I grew up was a little bit, I don't know, I'd say it was probably the same with a lot of Palestinians, where we try and adapt and we try and be more like those we're surrounded by. And it's not more so to be like assimilated, but it's just you're struggling to fit into the society, right? And you start to want to become like them. And for a long time I lost part of me, like that Palestinian part of me. Like, although I did go to protests, I did do all those things, but still it was the cultural aspect, it was all of that, right? And then when October happened, like a lot of my friends are white people, and they kept quiet, they didn't say anything. And then when I confronted them about it, they didn't say anything, right? So I honestly cut them all off. Like, I'm not, like, that's my red line, right? If you're not going to acknowledge what's happening to my people, if you're not going to at the bare minimum say to me something, then I'm literally like, I have no time of day for you anymore, right? Like, that's just, yeah, that's my red line. But yeah, a lot of them I've had to let go. And I had one friend that did care about Palestine, but they cared about it in the colonized sense, right? Like, they didn't want to go through the colonized sense, right? Like, they didn't want to go through the decolonized stream, right? And they had a problem with me being pro-resistance. So then they started saying, oh, you're becoming an extremist, blah blah blah, right? And like right away I cut them off, because I'm like, okay, now you're being Islamophobic, you're being a bigot, like all those things, right? Because extremism, the West has tied that to Islam, right? Like, they haven't tied that to Christianity or Judaism or any other religion. But it's a thing that I struggled with. And I think that for where I live right now, a lot, but the people feel like they're doing enough.
I in general that didn't telling you what 4 years met so many amazing people locally, and your comrades are also